Welcome to A Cup of Happy. I'm your host, life coach, mom, and friend, Nicole James. I'm so glad you've joined me to talk about life and the journey from our past to our future as we navigate the present in order to create our very best life. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's chat over a cup of happy. Good morning, friends, and welcome to another episode of A Cup of Happy. I'm really happy that you are tuning into this today. Real quick, last night I was at a function for female entrepreneurs. It is very empowering to be in a room full of women who are working on designing their own life. And there are women in there who are brand new, like myself, and there are women who have been doing it for decades. And that is such a powerful experience to just surround yourself with women from all different levels and backgrounds and to get to learn about who they are little by little. But if you are local to the Knoxville area, I highly recommend following at Gal Function on Instagram and just seeing all of the wonderful things that they are doing for women in our community. So just check them out. At Gal Function, Sarah and Corinne are the founders, and they are just so sweet and so fun. And every event that I've been to of theirs so far, I walk away feeling renewed, feeling like my cup is full and ready to tackle the next few days. So with that being said, that's all. I am coming into this recording today, having experienced that last night. And I also got to hear a speaker who is a life coach and helps women transition from corporate life to the life of entrepreneurship. And her name is Susie Q. And she has a podcast called The Reinvented Warrior, and it's phenomenal as well. So I would just recommend you checking them out, because those are some women that are local here in the Knoxville, East Tennessee surrounding areas, and I just want to give them some love. I just want to put it out there. Okay, so today, one thing that I want to talk about today, well, the main thing, is the topics of self-care versus self-love. I think it's really important to dive into this topic. I have been thinking about this over the last week and really contemplating this topic. We see a lot of things on social media, and even I've put things out there like taking time for self-care. Self-care is not selfish, and it's very true. Self-care is not selfish. But one thing that I think we all seem to do is struggle with the idea of giving ourselves space for self-care. We, for whatever reason, not whatever reason, I'm going to dive into that in a minute, but we tend to struggle with self-care. There's some kind of block inside of our brains that prevents us from caring for ourselves. And I'm not going to keep you in suspense for long. My belief is the reason we struggle with self-care is because we lack true self-love. It's really difficult to undo all of the things about our lives that are about ourselves as a person, ourself physically, ourself intelligently, like all of the things that I don't even know if intelligently is a word, but all of the things that we have been telling ourselves or that we heard when we were younger, whatever stories we picked up along the way in our lives, we've held on to those, and they have destroyed our ability to truly love ourselves. And until we can effectively overcome this self-hatred, yes, because the opposite of love is hatred. And if we're not loving ourselves, we're hating ourselves. And until we can let go of the self-hate and learn to truly love ourselves, we won't be able to truly care for ourselves. We won't be able to grasp onto the idea of self-care. It'll be superficial. We'll leave our self-care session, if you see me putting air quotes around self-care session, not feeling any better because we're not really caring for ourselves because we don't really love ourselves. So I want to dive into the topic of self-love and how to begin to love yourself. So I do have some notes, so you may see me referencing them because I really have been really diving into this week. Like I said, I feel it's really important. It's really important for us as women. So we didn't learn to hate these pieces of ourselves overnight. They've been building. We know this. This is not new information. But what we need to realize is that we need to be compassionate with ourselves as we learn to let go of that hate and to learn to love ourselves. We need to know that that's also not going to be an overnight process. This is going to take work. And the first thing you're going to have to do is to commit. You're going to have to commit to learning to love yourself. And I'm going to talk about how to do that, and I'm going to give you some tips. So the first thing that I want you to do, the first step in this process, is I want you to think specifically about the things that you hate about yourself. You may be surprised by that. I've heard a lot of people do the technique of looking in the mirror, standing in front of the mirror naked and looking at yourself for at least 5 minutes, and that can be very difficult, which it can be because I have done that, and trying to find one thing, even if it's like, oh, my eyebrows, I can be okay and I can love my eyebrows. And the idea is to slowly build on that and to learn to love more parts of yourself. And I'm not taking anything away from that technique because that technique can also be very powerful. But that's not the advice that I have for you today. Today I want you to start and I want you to really think about, and for most of us this will come pretty easily, sadly, but I want you to think about the things that you hate about yourself. This can be physically, it can be emotionally, mentally. What are the things about yourself that you hate? And I want you to list them out. Those are what you're going to pay attention to. And I want you to take the first thing that you wrote on your list, the very first thing. And now I want you to identify why. Why do you not like this particular thing about yourself? And I'll give you a personal example. So my personal example that has always been true for me is that I have hated my hair. And why? Why have I hated my hair? Well, there are some things that have been true for me, stories that have been true for me. My hair is multiple textures. It is super thin. I could never grow it past my shoulders. All of these things that were very, to me, made me feel very non-feminine. Like it really, I felt like I lacked a sense of femininity because my hair. And so having short hair and never having long hair, it made me feel like I was lacking feminine elements that were very important for being a female and for being a woman. And I've struggled with that for a very, very long time, as long as I can remember. I can never remember being super happy with my hair and the way that it looked. So I want you to take whatever thing it is that you've identified that I absolutely hate this about myself. And I want you to identify specifically why you hate that. Why? What is it about it that you don't like? And what are the things that you have been saying or that have been on repeat in your head about this particular thing? These stories that I just told you about my hair, I could tell you over and over again. I'd be like, I hate my hair. I wish it was different. I wish it was this. I absolutely, like, I can't believe it. Like, I'm so embarrassed. Like, I absolutely hate it. Why is my hair so thin? Why is it being so stupid? It's so unhealthy. It can never be what I want it to be. Now, I want you to take that item about yourself, and I want you to personify it. I want you to give it a personality. Bear with me. This might sound a little silly, but I really want you to try this. Now, if that thing that you hate about yourself was a person, would you expect good things to come from a person if you talked to that person the way that you talk to that thing about yourself that you hate? Why would I ever expect my hair to grow and be healthy and beautiful and shiny if I'm constantly telling it, you're so ugly, you're so thin, you're so fragile, you never grow, you never do this? Why would I think that that is creating something positive for that thing? Or if we're looking at it like a person, like for that person. So when we identify the way that we have spoken to this piece of ourself, because this is a part of ourself, let's reevaluate that. Let's change the narrative. Let's change the story and the words that we're speaking, because I'm not the first person to tell you this, but words have power. What comes out of our mouth is super powerful. So I want you to notice when you're thinking or saying something negative, anything negative about this piece of you that you have learned to hate. And I want you to begin to change that narrative immediately. Stop yourself and out loud say the opposite. Man, my hair is so thin. Man, look at, part of my hair is actually getting a little bit thicker. Thank you, hair. Like, you're growing and you're changing, and I appreciate that. Let's try it. Let's try it and see what happens. There are so many other pieces of ourself where this can be true. Yes, I'm using my hair as an example, and that may seem super shallow, but I will tell you, for me, it is a big part of me. It's a big part of a struggle that I've had in my life. And over the last several months, I have been very conscious about the way that I speak to my hair. Yes, I speak to my hair. Not in a weird way. I don't like have conversations with my hair, but if I'm going to comment on my hair just as I'm getting ready or making any kind of verbal comments about the way my hair is, I am very careful, and I have been dialing back the negativity and pouring out the positivity about it. Very excited about where this is going to lead. But so at any rate, this helps. This helps the way that I care for my hair. Now that I have taken on the mindset that my hair is doing the best that it can, my hair is really becoming healthy, I care for it in a way that I haven't before. And this is what we're going to be able to do for ourselves. As we begin to identify other areas of our life that we hate, what are some things that we hate? So another thing that I used to hate was the sound of my own voice. I've spoken about this before on another podcast, I believe. But my own voice was something that I hated for a few reasons. But as I have began to use my voice in a way that I feel is encouraging other women, empowering other women, and bringing some goodness into the world, I have learned to love my voice. Not in an arrogant way. I'm not like wanting to listen to myself all day long, but when I do go back and I listen to these podcasts before they release, I have a little bit of love for the way that I'm coming across. And that has everything to do with the work that I've been doing internally. And so I want you to think about all of the things on your list and go through them. Again, this isn't going to happen overnight. Make your list of things that you hate and tackle one thing a week or one thing a month, depending on how deep the hatred is in that particular area of who you are. Because all of these little pieces of us, they make up the entirety of who we are. And we can't minimize a few pieces of ourselves and expect to have confidence and love for ourselves as a whole when we demean these few little pieces of ourselves. We are beautiful, and we are powerful, and we are a whole person. All of us, our whole selves. We're not broken up into all these little pieces. And if we try to minimize one piece of ourselves, but we're trying to have all of the confidence in the world in another area, we're fragmenting ourselves. And we are not going to be the most productive whole person that we're meant to be. So after you identify what you can begin to say in the positive way towards yourself, I want you to begin doing that, but I want you to apologize to yourself, to the piece of yourself that you have been hating on. Apologize for the words that you've said. This is a very powerful exercise, but apologize. And then, after you apologize to yourself for hating on those pieces of yourself, forgive yourself. Forgive and let it go. Forgive and let it go, and hold on to the new concept, the new image that you have of who you are, and that every single piece of you is beautiful. Every single part of you is a piece of who you are, and you as a whole person are amazing, and you are beautiful, and your mindset about who you are is a very important thing for you to work on. Because if our mindset is not right about ourselves, what do we have right about ourselves? I really believe that mindset is key. And I hope that by doing this exercise that we've talked about today, that you can help to repair some of the mindset about yourself that may have been lacking or undernourished. And I want you to begin to really love who you are. Because then when you love who you are, you can begin to care for yourself. And when you care for yourself, that's when you can really grow and flourish, and you will begin to see exponential growth in your life. You will see your mindset shift about so many other things in life. You will begin to notice the positive in a situation where you're presented with, okay, I can look at this negatively or I can look at this positively. What am I going to choose? When you start with yourself and train yourself to see yourself in a positive way, that is going to overflow into all of your other areas of life. And I believe having a mindset that is working for you is one of the greatest forms of wealth. It's one of the greatest forms of happiness because it's not a destination. We know that happiness is not something to arrive at. It's something to experience along the way. And having a mindset that is working for you is the best way to get there. It's the best way to enjoy that journey all along the way. My friends, I love you so, so much. And I hope that these tips start by thinking about the things that you hate. Identify them. And then I want you to identify why. Why do you hate that part of you? 3, change the narrative. What is the exact opposite of what it is that you hate about that thing? Forgive yourself after you apologize. Apologize, forgive yourself for that hatred, and then forgive yourself. You are beautiful, my friend. You are so, so beautiful. I love you, and I really hope that this has been helpful for you today. This has been on my heart for, personally, I've been working on it, like I said, for a few months, but this particular podcast has been brewing for over a week, and I'm so happy to finally get to share it with you. If this has been helpful for you, please consider rating and reviewing. That does help get the word out to other people, because if it's been helpful for you, then chances are it can be helpful for somebody else. I love you, my friends, and I hope that you have an amazing week.